Dude, where you going? The show is just starting. Get up on the couch. Go up on the couch. There you go. There's my Boo Bear down by the river. Down by the river where a Boo Bear loves to be. What's happening now? It looks like the live feed stalled there for a minute. Anyways, again, my beautiful baby is down by the river where he loves to be. That boy loves to play in the water. I will tell you that for sure. So here we are at day 68 since the first patient was diagnosed with the COVID virus in the United States, in these United States. And here on day 68, gun sales are skyrocketing, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I have 13 clips for you tonight, including a clip about gun sales. The guys who own the gun shops cannot keep them on the shelves. They will not even let people buy bullets unless they buy a gun. That's how much bullets are in demand at this moment. Which, that just fills your heart with joy and warmth, doesn't it? For all humanity to know. Fear loves guns. Again, and this is a reason why they want you afraid. Fear loves guns, which means you want the police to have bigger and better guns. Even so much so that the police apparently don't have big enough and good enough guns. So the mayor of New York City, just in the last 30 minutes, I heard calling for Trump to bring in the military. The mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, just on Anderson Cooper's show like an hour ago, something like that, he said it's time for Trump to call in the military. And apparently, this has already been done because Trump is shipping hospital ships to both coasts, right? Military hospital ships have been shipped to both coasts, deployed, excuse me. Which is really weird to me. I mean, because we saw this ship. I mean, it's like each ship is like it's like a fucking giant hospital. But we saw on the cruise ships, right, that this in a confined area like that does not work well for the people that are in those areas. So I don't know that that's the best. Although if you don't have enough ventilators, I don't think you care whether, if you need a ventilator and there aren't enough for you, I don't think you care if you got to go out to the, the hospital shop. I don't know. I really wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to go to the hospital. I wouldn't want to go to the hospital ship for sure. But we have that clip. The National Guard has been deployed in Illinois. In case anyone's wondering, on day 68, since the first patient was diagnosed positive with the COVID virus 19, the National Guard has now been deployed in Illinois. Oh, and apparently Donald Trump today declared himself a wartime president. So that pretty much catches you all up. If you don't want to stick around, that's the whole show right there. Oh, I left out the part where Duncan Hunter Jr. goes to jail. One down, 500 more to go. The one corrupt politician down, 500 more to go. I think that's a good place to start the show. Let's do that. Duncan Hunter goes to jail. Is that a good place to start the clip? Should I start the clip there? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now? I don't know about this mic, man. Is this mic working? Oh, and I have this clip from the clip about the hospital ships being deployed to either coast is a Fox News clip with their Pentagon correspondent. I can't think of what her name is, but I have like 30 seconds. Oh shit! I better look at that, huh? I better go look at that. I have like 30 seconds at the beginning where or not 30 seconds, but like maybe 10 or 15 seconds at the beginning, which is a commercial, and it shows how Fox News is framing the commercials, the in between the news breaks, the breaks in between the news segments. Fox News is framing the commercials in this thing that says something COVID pandemic, right? So it's like, don't forget, you can't turn away. You can't change the channel now. We're still in a pandemic, people. Where do you think you're going? During the commercials, they have this up. And then you know what happens? Immediately when they go to the news, that framing thing where they frame the commercial in, it disappears. So as long as they keep the news going, telling you what it is that you're supposed to be terrified of, um, then we don't need to have the big red pandemic flashing thing going on. We just keep telling you what it is you're supposed to be afraid of. But as soon as we're going to stop telling you what you're supposed to be afraid of, we're going to put up the big red flashing sign so you know not to go anywhere, because there's some shit going down and you need to know everything you can about it. And I have a clip about apparently Oprah was apparently accused of sex trafficking. So she, since she obviously is not a sex trafficker, she had to come out publicly and make a big statement about the fact that she's not a sex trafficker. Because, if she didn't do that, how would anyone know that she's not a sex trafficker, right? So I thought you guys would want to see that. And let's see. Oh, and apparently there was a very low turnout last night in last night's primary. So I thought we should have a clip about that also. So that's where we're at tonight, and I'm ready for a big fat dab if anybody else would like to join me, because this is your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m., and I am your host, Moxie. Thanks so much for tuning in. We do this every night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and never forget, it's always better when you're here. You know it's true. I know it's true. It would be completely meaningless without you, in fact, in case you don't know that it's true. That's the way I see it. So, that being said, let's get to the clips. I really want to play this Duncan Hunter clip because I can't stand Duncan Hunter, and I'm so glad that he should be going to jail very soon, if he's not already there. So let's play that clip while I figure out what's going on.
Former California Representative Duncan Hunter has been sentenced to 11 months in prison for misusing campaign funds on such personal expenses as private school tuition and shopping sprees. Hunter was sentenced on Tuesday after years of denying that he spent $250,000 in campaign funds on personal use. In 2018, Hunter and his wife originally faced 60 counts of campaign finance violations. Hunter referred to the investigation into his finances as a witch hunt after publicly endorsing President Donald Trump. He repeatedly denied the accusations but pleaded guilty in December. In changing his plea, Hunter said, "I think it's important that people know that I did make mistakes. I did not properly monitor or account for my campaign money. I justify my plea with the understanding that I am responsible for my own campaign and my own campaign money." Prosecutors say hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign funds not only covered tuition for Hunter's children, but also weekend trips with his mistress and airfare for a pet rabbit. Hunter has reportedly paid back around $62,000 of the campaign funds. After Hunter's 11-month sentence, he will also serve 3 years of supervised probation.
We're back. And I was really glad to see that news today. That was my favorite news today. I was like, yes! So, if anybody wants to call, the number is 805-669-6397. This is a live call-in show. Again, we do it every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and it's just like I said, it's always better when you're here. Meaning, when you guys participate, this is what it's all about, and it gives the show. It's what makes the show of true value is other people being able to express themselves, not just me. Because although I do believe my opinion is of value, I don't want to think that it's a whole lot more value than anybody else's. Okay, so that being said, let's see. Yes, I should send out another alert. Right, that's a good plan. I'll do that now. Mox News is now live. Day 68 of the COVID pandemic. We are now at war, people. All right, there goes one little kitty. Oops, hold on, little kitty. Just a minute. Okay, I'm sending out messages right now. Isn't that what you told me to do? Hold on. All right, here we go. I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And thank you guys so much for all your love and support because this is what we all need more of. It's just love and support and understanding and helping to make the world a beautiful place. And I just wish that we could all come together and decide that's what we're going to make happen. Because we know damn well people like Duncan Hunter are never going to do that for us. And everybody in Washington is pretty much just like Duncan Hunter. So, that being said, you want to see the Oprah sex trafficking video? Is that what you want to see? Huh? I know that's what you want. Or if you want to call, the phone lines are open, I think. Has anyone tried to call yet? I don't know. I have a new phone, and apparently it's going to go to Craig first, and then it will come to me. So it would be very nice if someone could call so that Craig could screen his first actual caller. Think about that for a second. Not that we're screening anybody. It's just we're hoping that we can actually get a flow of callers a little bit better, so that when someone calls and I'm busy talking with someone, Craig can answer the other call, and the call waiting call, and be like, yeah, sure, man, hold on just a minute and we'll get you hooked up with Mike right away, instead of having to lose people who otherwise might like to participate. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole idea. So I'm so ready for a bong hit. I don't know if you guys are ready for a bong hit, but I'm so ready for a bong hit. And I want to check that too. So give me just a second. You know what? I'm going to play another clip here. I'm going to play the Illinois National Guard deployed, because that's something everyone should know about. And there's a couple other interesting statistics on that clip also. So be right back.
The governor of Illinois has activated 60 National Guard members to assist with combating the spread of the coronavirus. The Illinois National Guard said these members include 43 airmen from the Peoria-based 182nd Airlift Wings Medical Group and 17 planners and liaison officers from both the Army National Guard and Air National Guard units. They will assist the state with logistical support and medical staffing. Florida, New Jersey, and Texas have also turned to the National Guard for support in fighting the growing outbreak. Assistance efforts have included distributing food, converting buildings for quarantine, and testing for the virus. Illinois documented its first coronavirus-related death this week. The state has closed all schools and restaurants in its fight against the spread of the virus.
A recent study found the coronavirus can remain viable and infectious outside the body for anywhere from 3 hours to 3 days. The National Institutes of Health, CDC, UCLA, and Princeton University published their findings in the New England Journal of Medicine. The disease can remain viable for up to 3 hours in aerosols, up to 4 hours on copper surfaces, and up to 24 hours on cardboard. It can also last 2 to 3 days on plastic and stainless steel. Researchers compared this virus's stability to the most closely related coronavirus, better known as SARS. They found similarities which led them to offer guidance similar to recommendations for the flu and other respiratory viruses to mitigate the spread. Public health professionals suggest washing your hands often, avoiding close contact with people who are sick, avoiding touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, staying home when you are sick, covering your coughs and sneezes with a tissue that you can throw away, and cleaning and disinfecting frequently touched objects or surfaces with a regular household cleaner.
Hospitals around the country have been preparing for a significant rise in patients as the coronavirus pandemic continues to grow, but health officials say they fear there aren't enough supplies for patients. On Tuesday, the Society of Critical Care Medicine projected that nearly 1 million U.S. coronavirus patients could need ventilators at some point during the outbreak, but the U.S. only has about 200,000 ventilators ready to use, many of which are older and may not work well for critically ill patients. Ventilators are used for the most severe coronavirus cases, when patients experience respiratory issues and decreased oxygen levels as a result of the virus. When asked about the number of ventilators, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar said the agency had tremendous supplies, but he would not disclose the exact number for national security reasons. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, said the federal government had nearly 13,000 ventilators in its stockpile. He added that whether the number of stockpiled ventilators was enough depended on when the virus slows down. The Health and Human Services Department also says there isn't enough stockpiled protective medical equipment like gowns, masks, and gloves. It says it doesn't know when production of those items will start to meet demand, but did say it was looking for a solution.
What's happening? Okay, I thought that those were probably important information bits that you might like to know about. I also, again, I have this video from Fox that I want to show you about the hospital ships and such. And I don't. It's not really about the hospital ships, although I think the hospital ships thing is interesting. It's about and I do have the bong heated, so I am going to take a puff here just momentarily. It's about the fact that well, it's not about that, but I wanted to show you the way that Fox News is framing the commercials. You know, pandemic 2020. I am gonna have to go watch. Is it Holy Grail? Is that the one or Monty Python, where they're walking through the street and like, bring out your dead, bring out your dead. I, this stuff doesn't bother me at all. It's the way the people are reacting that really bothers me. Cause the people are acting so. They're just, my dog won't leave my side. He's right here all day long. I mean, if I'm at my desk, he's sitting right at my feet, literally under the desk on my feet. If I go anywhere, he just stays right next to me. And I don't know if there's a coming earthquake or if he just senses the tension that is all around us, this heightened, escalated tension. Because he's a very sensitive guy. He loves people. He can tell, when people are upset or whatever. I don't know. It's very. Because all we need right now is a big old earthquake, some kind of natural disaster to happen, a big fat earthquake, and the whole shit just goes crazy, right? All bets are fucking off. So I guess it's good that people are stockpiling, just because if something like that was to happen right now, you guys would all be hurting really bad, I don't care what happens to me. But you know what? If there was a big fucking natural disaster that happened, you would want to be prepared for that anyways. And that's the thing. That's what's happening now. That's what I'm saying is, people are buying all the water off the shelves, all the toilet paper off the shelves. It's not like the water's going. It's not like the toilet. I mean, they restock it every day. Okay. I have a caller. Michael from Southern California. So let's see how this works. Our first screen call. Look at that. Let's see. This looks like speaker right here. Hello, caller. Oh, that's not it. Hello, caller? I don't know which one it is. Hello, caller? Hello? Hello? I don't know how to answer this phone. Huh. I don't see where the speakerphone is at.
Maybe we got a technical glitch. It should have pushed right through to you.
I heard it ring. I don't know how to pick up the phone.
It is this button right here.
Oh, I didn't push that one.
There's your volume.
I pushed this one.
Oh, that's mute.
Did I mute it?
All right,
Is it muted right now?
I'll get him back.
It's not muted right now, right?
He'll get me back.
Okay.
Learning curve.
Okay. Now I know which button to push. See, when Craig was saying you should come in here and see this, I should go in there and see that. But I'm fucking busy, man. I gotta focus. I'm busy. Oh well. Who's ready for some marijuana? Okay, let's see what happens. Nope, didn't get it. Didn't get it that time. Maybe it'll be coming back next time. Let's see what happens. I don't know. It's all new to me, people. I've never seen this phone before. So let's see. Oh yeah, the Duncan Hunter video got played, and so we went out for a walk today, and it's a lovely day, and we're walking around, and it's weird, man. It's like people are like crossing the streets, but there's a lot of people, not a lot, but there's more than usual people out with their dogs. Because like I said, in Seattle, people love their dogs. Is it ringing right now? There's like a red flashing light on the phone. So I don't know what the red flashing light means. I suppose I could put it on camera. Alright, let's see.
He says he got pushed to voicemail, so I gotta figure out why.
There's a red flashing light on the phone.
Figure it out. Just do your thing and figure it out.
I'm doing my thing. Stop telling me what to do. Okay. Let's see. Oh, right, money. Let's see. Do what now?
Listen, don't mind me.
It's still flashing red.
Trying to fix that.
What were we saying? Oh, right, money. Right. Apparently, Trump is talking about some kind of a financial package. I can play that video for you, where he talks about being a wartime president and then wanting to do some kind of a financial package for people.
Did you turn that off so I can...
I turned it off.
I can't over again.
So I don't know what's going on, you guys, still. But what I can tell you is that I don't see ambulances everywhere. I don't see, I just don't see people dying all over the place. I guess people are getting sick, but I'm not seeing it. Also, I don't know if I said, I have a video about a new report from the CDC where they're saying that the reason that the COVID-19 spread in the Seattle area was because of nurses that were not taking proper precautions. So that's a report from the CDC. So everything's fucked. But again, at the same time, I go out, I walk around, I look, and the only thing that's different is that there's people going crazy at the grocery store. And there's not as many cars on the road. Let's see.
Here we go. Let's see if it works.
Hello, caller.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. Going good. I made it past your fucking CIA security system, the troll catcher. Fuck, bitch.
Yeah. Well, those people they're more important than I am, so it's good that we hear what they say. That's so funny. Did you hear those people last night? The one said, "I'm better than you." It's so weird,
No, man. I didn't hear that. Was that last night?
Yeah, the trolls. They were like, they were relentless last night, and I don't know how it came up, but the guy just flat out said, "I'm better than you," and I'm just like, well, that's a very telling statement. I suppose you're a very stable genius too, huh?
Yeah, every 16-year-old is way better than fucking adults. We all know that, you know. They're just like God's gift to planet Earth.
Everybody's better than me, pretty much.
So I was cooking potatoes and jalapenos and onions and papas on my stove top. And then I came in here at 7:30. Now I came in here at 7:20. And I did my regular thing where I go to my subscriptions on YouTube. And you weren't there, dude.
Yeah.
You weren't available on my subscription, so I had to look you up by name instead of just punching in, my subscriptions, and then when whoever's live comes up, you weren't available live. And I think just like Facebook yesterday, YouTube is doing some weird algorithm thing right now. Oh, I got to switch back to you. Right now, you got 16 watching.
Yeah.
Normally, you've got 25. So I don't know what's going on. It's not your fault. It's everybody's fucking around with the algorithm. Facebook did it yesterday. And I think YouTube is doing it today, just so you know.
Yeah, no, they're constantly doing it. And I mean, I have 118,000 fucking subscribers, and probably the vast majority of them think that I don't ever do anything. They probably think I never do a single fucking thing, that I've given up on YouTube, and that I don't post anything. I will bet you the vast majority of the 118,000 people who subscribed to my YouTube channel so that they could know what was happening on it have no idea what's going on it, because the management of YouTube are fucking idiots.
Yeah, I just did it again, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 live shows going on right now, and yours doesn't show up. So I don't know what it is, but it's not my computer. It's YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube hates us. YouTube has hated me forever, dude. They've been trying to get rid of me. I mean, when they kicked off the C-SPAN Junkie channel, they said, "You are no longer allowed to participate. Do not come back."
Yeah, well, everybody on Facebook yesterday was getting their coronavirus posts censored. Apparently, the intelligence police were out in full force on Facebook, and worldwide, everybody I know in New York and France and England, all complaining about this post got blocked and that post got blocked, and so, they just press the fucking button, and then the machine goes and decides what's politically correct and what's not, what's fake news and what's not. But they are trying to put the kibosh on all of the alternative COVID-19 stories. And the truth is, this is an unnecessary global crisis. They're crashing the fucking economy. Everybody's sheltering in place. There's too much of a panic. There's nothing on except COVID-19.
Yeah.
Just like 9/11, for the next 2 weeks after 9/11, there was nothing on except 9/11. Over and over and over, you see the buildings and you hear Osama bin Laden, and then 60 Minutes puts out a fake Osama bin Laden story. Yeah, we've been after him forever. And then you probably remember better than me. Remember, I think Dan Rather or somebody wandered into the desert and accidentally found Osama bin Laden in a tent when the CIA couldn't find him. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, the fucking media is fucked up, man. And if people start telling too much truth, now we got algorithms and robots to shut it down. So, my story is the same old story as last week. It's don't panic, cook some good food. Fucking pretty soon Trump will be handing out your $1,000 check,
I thought you didn't have a stovetop, man.
Say Say that again, Michael?
I thought you didn't have a stovetop.
No, I have a stovetop. I don't have an oven.
Well, you can make Rice Krispie treats on a stovetop. You don't need an oven. And Rice Krispies.
Doesn't it burn it on the bottom?
No, you don't. What? You don't know how to use a stove and a pan and a spoon?
Well, yeah, I'll get around to making some edibles. It's just,
I know you will. I know you will. I thought you said you didn't have that available. That's all.
I'm almost tempted to dip my finger into my coconut oil and just see what happens if I dip my finger in and lick it. But I'll probably go into space zone for 24 hours or something like that. I got some pretty powerful liquid, man. It's like, so yeah, I would rather eat something and play it light,
Yeah.
Most people with a sweet tooth are probably going to go, oh man, this is good, and they just keep on eating.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could find. Wish I could find something that I could like make that wasn't all sugary, so that I wasn't. Because sometimes when there's no other sugar around, I'm like, oh, I need another brownie. I don't really need one. So.
Yeah, well, I got a sweet tooth. I love brownies and really good bread with butter on it, and garlic bread and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I could eat that all day long.
Yeah.
But, normally when I go to the store, I'm not buying cakes or donuts or cookies. It's a very rare occasion to me. I try to cut down on my sugar intake for the last 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't think sugar's that good for you. I think
sugar's
it's probably
horrible for you.
A lot of disease.
And I bet it's just as addictive as fucking heroin, man. And I think about this a lot. I think they talk about like how bad nicotine is and all these other things, and then right with the vaping thing, they're like, oh, you can't have cotton candy flavored vape, and I think, well, sugar is fucking horrible for you. Why can you have cotton candy flavored cotton candy and fucking market it directly to children? Because that's what they do all fucking day long,
Yeah, same thing with the FDA. They won't approve marijuana or marijuana products, but they'll push opioids and drugs and crazy fucking bullshit drugs on you for your entire life. It's like, you take our drugs, don't take your own drugs, Mother Nature's not your friend. You guys don't know anything. We have the white goats. We know best. Government is just a brainless, talentless, tactless machine that will eat you if you let them. So you have to fight the government your whole life. That should be, besides staying sane and healthy, your number one job should be to fight your crazy, insane government, which is just a mindless machine. Well, we can't do that because regulation number 47 says that we're sorry, Mr. Bravo, that's against our regulations. Fuck your regulations.
Well, the thing about fighting the government is, I didn't bring the fight to the government. The government brought the fight to me. Okay, I'm supposed to be able to be free to go forward and express my top of the food chain, big brain, however I see fucking fit. And every time I do, there's this person and that person and all these people saying, oh, you better fall in line and you can't be like that, and how come you don't have a haircut and you better shave, and all this fucking bullshit. Like, there's no freedom. And if you're anywhere where you're like expressing yourself in a free manner, they act like you're a fucking danger. And again, this war on drugs bullshit. This is this dangerous terminology, right? It's impossible to win a war on drugs. It's impossible to win a war on terror. And now here we are, the war on the coronavirus, right? And I'm telling you, the war on drugs is a war on you, your neighbors, and your children. There is no doubt about that. The war on terror also turned out to be you are potential enemy combatants. If you do not know that right now, even before the COVID virus, you should understand that you live in a theater of war and you are considered at this time a potential enemy combatant. And now we have the war on the COVID virus, which again is going to be a war on you. Okay, that means you are going to have to fucking deal now with military personnel, and they're going to tell you what to do. And if you don't do it, you're going to get locked up in some kind of fucking military jail cell and probably not get any medical treatment and just die. So that's what these. When I say the war on the coronavirus is very dangerous terminology, you best believe it's very fucking dangerous. Because I don't talk about shit being very dangerous. I haven't talked about the coronavirus being very, very dangerous, but the fucking terminology about this is very fucking dangerous. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, well, if you just study recent history, say from World War II or even World War I on, I forget who it was, which philosopher came up with it, but there's a thing called thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. And right now, we're in the middle of the synthesis. The thesis, I don't know what the thesis was, but the antithesis is the COVID virus. And right now we're struggling. We're being synthesized as a society, as a global society, to fear this invisible danger, which the numbers don't pan out. Some of the logic does hold up, but it's a divide and conquer strategy. And have we ever been more divided? I think if we're all sheltering in place, we're all hiding in our rooms and, don't shake hands, don't go to the store, don't congregate with more than 10 people. Fuck, this is right out of that movie, V for Vendetta.
And make sure that you are strapped and locked and loaded.
Right, true, yeah.
Because apparently the gun shops cannot keep the guns and ammunition on the shelves right now.
Yeah, well, they're not going to win. 9/11 was a wake-up call, but unfortunately, not everybody woke up. And this is another type of a wake-up call where we're going to have to see through the curtain, at the man behind the curtain, who started this, what's the objective? Is the objective to bring in martial law state? It kind of, we're being entrained. Our brains are being entrained. And if you're in fear, you're not going to, you're falling right into their hands. That's what they want. They want you to be afraid. We have an enemy, a new enemy, a great enemy. So, fuck, man. Maybe we're not in the synthesis stage yet. Maybe we're in the antithesis stage, and the synthesis will be a greater awakening. That's something worth hoping for. I know you don't like the word hope, but,
It's not the word hope I don't like. It's fucking hope. I can't get rid of this shit. It won't leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, it won't leave me alone either, but, there's only one choice besides death, and that's to go forward. And
it's not a matter of death. It's a matter of, man, I keep hoping that we're going to turn this government around and we're going to bring the troops home. And I never give up hoping that that's a thing that might happen one day. And one of these days, this war is going to end. And that hope just doesn't ever go away. And I can't, and there's nothing I can do to make it fucking go away. And it bothers me that I can't get rid of it.
Well, look at what's going on. You got a flu going around worldwide. How the hell it traveled so fast, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. And there's a big stink everywhere. COVID-19, COVID-19, don't drink Corona, blah, 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 blah. Yet, I saw an article several months ago that said more U.S. soldiers have committed suicide in the last 10 years than died in Vietnam. And we all know 58,000 people died in Vietnam. So why isn't there a stink about that?
Hold on. 58,000 U.S. soldiers died in Vietnam, not 58,000 people.
Millions of others, yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Why isn't there a stink about that? Why isn't that on the fucking news? How come the homeless situation is allowed to become so bad? I guess I live in the homeless capital of the United States. I mean, if you're going to be homeless, at least go to California and don't freeze, you know. But it's so easy to become homeless these days. And we will see what the synthesis stage of the thesis and antithesis synthesis program is. You know, it happens anywhere. In political situations, you know, the antithesis to the communist threat was, what was that senator that cracked down on everybody in the 50s? I can't remember his name. Yeah, McCarthy. Well, the antithesis to communism was McCarthyism, and a lot of people suffered under that. A lot of Hollywood people too. They've been trying to shut down the voices that speak logic, truth, and reason forever. And so, you know, something's happening on YouTube right now where you're not coming up live. What do you got? You got 16 watching. Fuck. Usually you'll have 30 by this time. And so we'll see what happens, man. I'm not worried, but it's an obvious clown show. And if you let machines run your fucking life, like shut down free speech, that ain't. You know, we've seen this before. They shut down Occupy Wall Street, which is what's that? The Third Amendment, the right for freedom of assembly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, don't let them. You have to fight them every step of the way. I have to fight them every step of the way. The rest of the people can do what they want, but I feel obliged to stand up for my personal freedoms and stand up for the freedoms of everybody else. And you do too, otherwise you wouldn't be doing this show. I mean, we're both Paul Revere crying in the wilderness, you know, hey, shit's fucked up, y'all, look at this, look at that, look at that. So the coronavirus is a distraction. I'm not worried about it. I still pick my nose. I pick my fucking nose. Fuck you, U.S. government. And if, you know, the FDA is bought off, who's to say that the World Health Organization isn't infiltrated and being influenced? And what's the other one? The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, World Health, and the CDC. You know, the CDC, those people are so infiltrated. You know, why haven't people stood up to Big Pharma? Because Big Pharma is one of the top 3 lobbies in Washington. So if you get rid of those lobbyists in Washington, the voices of reason will be able to come through. If you get rid of Citizens United, which says money is speech, the voices of the people will be able to come through. So it's a clown show. You're watching a charade. You're watching shadows on the wall, Plato's cave. It's shadows on the wall. So I'm not worried about it, man. I got a big fat joint right here. I got some coffee. My food is on low. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Hey, did you see the clip I played, the first clip I played, which is Duncan Hunter got 11 months in jail?
No, I tuned in 20 minutes after you came on.
Isn't that your representative?
Not that I know of.
Okay. He's a SoCal douchebag. He's a SoCal congressman. So, and he got 11 months, and I fucking love it. So I thought if he was your congressman, you probably felt the same way about him, and you might be glad to hear that news. So, anyways.
No, I think mine is Julia Brownlee. She's kind of she's not like you and me, so I can call her a conservative, but she acts like a liberal, and she's actually kind of involved, but she's a statist. You know, I don't believe in statists. You know, look at what Bernie Sanders did. He dropped out, said, well, there's nothing I can do. I'm going to fade into the abyss of history. It's like, Bernie, Yeah, have you heard, can you spell cojones, Bernie? Feel the burn, Bernie. So,
yeah, right.
I don't know, man.
I agree. Feel the burn. Where the fuck is that at? I guess that's just his supporters that are supposed to feel that.
Yeah, we're betrayed once again, and we knew it was going to happen. It's like, Chris was right. That motherfucker is a sheepdog. He's there to, fuck. So we're going to get stuck with Trump unless the world is crazier than I think, because I think Biden would be a worse choice than Trump. What do you think?
I don't think Biden's electable. That's what I think. I don't think there's any way Biden can beat Trump. I don't know that he's a worse choice. They're both as bad as it gets. So as bad as it gets, there isn't really one better than the other,
I think Biden's only lucid about 4 hours a day, and they got to shoot him up with drugs to get him lucid for just those 4 hours. And then he's got to take a 2-day break to come down. It's like a acid trip or something. He's got to take 2 days off to recover from the drugs they injected to him to make him lucid for a fucking 2-hour debate. It's like Biden is a very. Why would we elect someone that has mental issues like that? It means we're retarded.
Yeah, it makes the Democrat. I said this again and again. It makes the Democrats look like this is the best you have to offer, really. So, I mean, I don't know how the fuck the elites are thinking. I know what they're thinking. They want Donald Trump reelected. That's really all there is to it.
Well, Caligula brought a horse into the Roman Senate. And he was a pretty fucked up dude, but, apparently he didn't like the aggregate intelligence of the Roman Senate, so he made a horse a senator in order to, put his finger up in the face of the Senate, so, Trump is probably the closest we're going to get to Caligula. But if worse comes to worse, I suppose I'll vote for Trump because Biden is just, if you look up Dick Witt in the dictionary, they got a picture of Joe Biden right there. Dick Witt.
Look, from day one, I've said anybody who gives money to Joe Biden is a fucking idiot. Okay, so that's all. And I still believe that, and I don't believe for a second that anybody fucking supports that guy. So, again, everybody's full of shit. The pillars of the community are completely full of shit, and we have nowhere to turn. Except for to each other, and we all have to realize that. Hey, Michael, it's good to hear from you, man. I'm glad you called.
Okay, bro. Take care, man.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Bye.
Be here.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Tomorrow. Bye. Okay, so I'm gonna play this spot. Oh no, I gotta look at that first. Hold on. I am gonna play Wartime President.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us here this Wednesday night. There were new warnings today from the White House, what they're seeing in younger patients and the coronavirus now in all 50 states. President Trump calling himself a wartime president in this country. The virus has now sickened at least 7,700 Americans. And of course, they believe that number is likely much higher given the very slow start in testing. Tonight, the death toll, at least 135. And to give you an idea of how quickly this is now spreading in this country, you can see how steep that curve is. A 6-fold increase in a week. And again, the White House urging Americans to keep a safe distance from one another, to try to flatten that curve, to slow it down, to give hospitals a fighting chance. Tonight, the president says he may invoke the Defense Production Act, meaning he could call on industry to produce critically needed medical equipment, ventilators, masks, and other supplies. And the U.S. and Canada closing the border to all non-essential travel. Alarming numbers on unemployment today, and the White House tonight now wants to send 2 checks out to American families. For how much and when would they come? We have it all covered for you. Here in New York City tonight, cases doubling in 24 hours, what they're now seeing here. And the New York governor confirming a Navy hospital ship will be sent to New York Harbor. Tonight, critical shortages of medical supplies remain across the country. You're going to hear from ER doctors the reality inside their hospitals. And the long lines tonight for testing. These images from Albuquerque, and we saw it in so many places. Tonight, Dr. Jen Ashton with a new and important study, how long coronavirus lasts in the air and on surfaces. So let's carefully get to it all with you tonight. And we're going to begin with ABC's Whit Johnson.
Tonight, sweeping action to fight the virus. The president says he's prepared to invoke the Korean War-era law, allowing him to direct American industries to produce critically needed medical equipment and protective gear.
We must sacrifice together because we are all in this together and we'll come through together. It's the invisible enemy.
President Trump closing the northern border with Canada to all non-essential traffic and potentially limiting the flow on the border with Mexico. The Pentagon announcing those 2 hospital ships will soon be on the move. The Mercy deploying to the West Coast. The Comfort will head for New York Harbor. And today, a new warning for young people.
There are concerning reports coming out of France and Italy about some young people getting seriously ill and very seriously ill in the ICUs.
Doctors raising the alarm that too many millennials are defying orders to avoid crowds after countless images like these, young people descending on Florida beaches.
You have the potential then to spread it to someone who does have a condition that none of us knew about and cause them to have a disastrous outcome.
The president today asked why some professional athletes seem to be getting access to the test more easily than other Americans.
How are non-symptomatic professional athletes getting tests while others are waiting in line and can't get them? Do the well-connected go to the front of the line?
Well, you'd have to ask them that question. I mean, I've read. No, I wouldn't say so, but perhaps that's been the story of life. That does happen on occasion.
The federal government now working to make more tests available, expediting so-called self-swab testing kits to protect healthcare workers. The kits could be sent home, where a patient would do a simple nose swab themselves. A tech would then pick up the sealed sample, considered less intrusive than the current test, a process the president himself has experienced.
I can tell you because I did it. But we have a current process that's a little bit difficult.
Across the country, people waiting for hours to be tested and then days for results.
I'm just getting worse and worse.
Fahima Jamali has been homesick for nearly 2 weeks with her husband and daughter, desperate for a test.
I am because last night my face is stopped and I just used this.
She finally found a hospital to test her, but now the wait for results.
The feeling is really not good. I just need my results back and see what they want to do for me.
In New York State, the number of cases soaring above 2,400, at least 16 deaths. The governor pushing back against a possible shelter in place, instead issuing an executive order requiring all non-essential businesses to leave 50% of their workers at home.
I understand the anxiety, I understand the fear, but you also have to remember the facts of the situation, right? And the facts are still very clear. We know what this virus does.
In New York, more than 1,000 new cases in just the last 24 hours. But Governor Cuomo also pointing out that more than 100 New Yorkers have already been released from the hospital. And tonight we're learning that lawyer at the center of the outbreak in Westchester County, who is in critical condition, now seems to be on the road to full recovery. His wife adding on Facebook that he's awake and alert. His first words to her, "I love you so much."
And that is good news tonight. Let's get back to Whit with us live tonight. Going back to that law the president is now considering that would give President Trump broad powers really to ask industry across this country for help in making supplies. Late today, after having brought it up earlier, the president did clarify that he has so far not taken that action.
David, President Trump says he's already signed it, but will only invoke this Korean War-era law in a worst-case scenario, adding that he's hopeful there will be no need. David.
Whit Johnson leading us off tonight. Whit, thank you.
Condenser mic, that's the one I'm using, condenser mic. I'm not used to that one. Let's see. Okay, so I have to redo the Fox clip because I left the audio on the front of it, which is a commercial, and I don't want to play the commercial audio, but I want you to see the video because I think it's important what I'm seeing. And I just want to make sure you guys see this fear thing that I'm talking about. So I know you want to see this clip from Oprah, and if you want to call, the number is 805-669-6397. Multiple operators are standing by. And we'd love to take your call. And I'll be happy to debate anybody on any subject. Happily. Happily. I'm going to play the Oprah clip for you because I love that one. That is clip 5. Methinks that she does to protest too much.
A really good point.
Gail? Oh, mine is about Oprah, a story I never thought I'd be talking about. She's debunking a strange conspiracy theory that was trending on social media overnight. This was actually the #1 trend, the fake report that claimed that her home was raided by police and that she was arrested on sex trafficking charges in Florida.
True.
Of course, that is false.
It's not true? That's not true?
Oprah tweeted about it. She said, just got a phone call that my name is trending and being trolled for some awful fake thing. It's not true. Haven't been raided or arrested. Just sanitizing and self-distancing with the rest of the world. Stay safe, everybody. You know, she called me at 3:30 this morning because I hadn't heard anything about it. No. Of course, I said, do you want to come on and talk about it? She goes, no, I'm not going to dignify it with a reply, and you shouldn't either. Yeah. She asked me not to say anything about it. But
here we are.
But guys, it made me so mad because it's the antithesis of who she is,
I know.
What she represents, and how she lives in the world. But people see that stupid stuff online, and it picks up and takes on a life of its own.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to be officially. It's just for anybody who believed it. I don't have any response to that, but I just think we have to shut that down.
Logically, you just look at it and go, "Come on, this is ridiculous."
But you're saying logically, though, Anthony. That's the problem. Not everybody's logic.
No.
It just makes no sense whatsoever. Oprah, sex trafficking. Who could possibly believe that? Methinks she does to protest too much. We all know people with Oprah money would never do something like human trafficking, sex trafficking, children. Good people like Oprah. Right? And I know that it was really important for Oprah to get out in front of this story, to make sure that people know that she in no way is a child sex trafficker. Right? Yeah, I think there might be more to this story, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to play this CDC report about... they're saying that the reason that the COVID virus has spread in Seattle in the way that it has is because of nurses not following basic procedures to protect themselves and patients. So I thought that you probably would want to hear that in case you didn't already. It seemed kind of important.
Today, in a new report, the CDC found that sick nurses fueled the coronavirus outbreak at Kirkland's Life Care Center and at least 8 other nursing homes. KOMO's Patrick Quinn has been following the outbreak in Kirkland from the beginning. Now, Patrick joins us remotely from his home, and we're going to get to why that is in just a moment. But let's start with what the CDC, how they explained what happened at Life Care Center. Patrick?
Hey, Mary, yeah, this report, it kind of answered a lot of the questions and was pretty startling in what it found. And this is all at Life Care, where now we know 32 people have died with COVID-19. And the report found, CDC officials found that nurses, they weren't always healthy. They weren't always prepared when handling this outbreak. They say that started February 28th. And here we are 20 days later. And we've learned a little bit more into how the virus was able to spread so quickly. The CDC said nurses weren't always wearing gloves and goggles as needed. They also weren't always healthy, showing symptoms of COVID-19 when they went to work in Kirkland and other nursing homes. Another big flaw the report found is there was a lack of testing availability. Now, before we start doing the blame game, CDC officials and Life Care officials now are saying, let's not blame the nurses. Today we heard from leadership, they said we were caught between a rock and a hard place. We're a nursing home. We aren't built to treat and respond to an acute illness like COVID-19, especially one that we haven't seen before. You'll hear from Life Care coming up tonight at 5, but certainly a startling report seeing that nurses weren't always best prepared when handling COVID-19. Mary?
And also important to point out that these are the same staff members that had repeatedly requested to be tested and were frustrated that they couldn't be.
That's right. And LifeCare is saying that at this point, all residents have been tested and they're in the process of testing and getting results back for all employees at this point of around the 43 residents that are still at LifeCare, all but 11. So in the 30s still or have tested positive rather for COVID-19.
Patrick, you've been reporting from that Kirkland facility for a couple of weeks and now we see that you're reporting from home. I think that we're going to see a lot more of this. Can you explain to our viewers why you're reporting from home?
Right. The elephant in the room and the elephant in, I guess, my living room at this point. So I reported from Kirkland, from the Life Care Center for about 2 straight weeks. And obviously there was a lot of concern with the virus spreading there. There was a reporter for ABC who this morning came out and said that she tested positive for COVID-19. And out of an abundance of precaution, I'm now going to be landlocked, going to be reporting from home, as I think we'll see a lot of reporters do. We've been following a lot of these practices of safeguarding ourselves now for well into a week or 2 weeks. I haven't mic'd up anyone. I haven't touched any of the people we've interviewed. We've kept at least an arm's distance and now certainly 6 feet since that order came into play. But for the time being, and I think we'll see more reporters doing this locally and nationally, we're keeping our distance even more so than we probably would otherwise. So again, I'm feeling fine, but for the time being, you'll see me from home, and maybe my dog will make an appearance or two. We'll see. But for the time being, for the next few days, for the foreseeable future, I'll be reporting from home. Mary?
Glad you're doing that, Patrick. Thanks so much for checking in.
And it won't be long now until we hear about Steve McClanahan finding himself in quarantine because he just insists in inserting himself so deeply into the shit over and over again. Last we heard, he was surrounded by people with guns. I sure hope he's doing okay. That's, doesn't need to be on. Where's that? Where's the damn speakers? As I was saying, Steve McClanahan so entrenches himself in the shit that one day soon I'm sure we'll probably find him in the same predicament as that reporter, self-quarantining just to be on the safe side. But that's the kind of price that you have to pay to be a top journalist correspondent with a degree in journalism, broadcast degree, apparently. So I'm redoing the Fox clip about the hospital ships so that you can see the part that I wanted to show you at the beginning. I got that set up. It's going now. It'll take just a minute. I have the ice courts in the ice courts, the lawyers in the ice courts, right? The immigration courts are asking them to be closed down. They want the immigration courts closed down because they don't think it's safe. And I thought that was probably important also to see.
Elected officials around the country are imploring, even requiring people to stay at home or avoid gatherings of 10 or more people to slow the spread of the coronavirus. But the federal government waited until Tuesday evening to close 10 of the nation's 68 immigration courts and postpone nationwide hearings for non-detained immigrants. It had already closed the court in Seattle.
These courtrooms are tight quarters. They don't have windows. They don't have any ventilation, and usually you're sitting in there with between 50 and 100 people.
In an unprecedented show of solidarity, ICE prosecutors, immigration judges, and immigration lawyers are urging the Trump administration to close all courts to protect the health and safety of the staff and the public that we serve. Fanny Bayar-Ostro speaks on behalf of ICE prosecutors.
Your employer is telling you that you have to go into work business as usual, and at the same time you are learning through the media that this virus is spreading like wildfire, and that the possibility of being exposed by being in a courtroom full of people is large.
These individuals, especially in our metro areas, use public transportation. They cram into escalators and cram into elevators and to waiting rooms, and the risk of contamination at this point is just too high.
In a joint statement published Sunday, judges, along with ICE and immigration attorneys, acknowledged that closing the courts will impose significant hardship for the government, asylum seekers, and detained immigrants. But they also endorsed the use of telework and video conferencing to continue the court's most pressing cases. The Department of Justice, which oversees immigration courts, tells Newsy it decided to close some immigration courts and postpone all non-detained hearings through April 10th due to its continuing evaluation of information from local, regional, state and federal officials regarding the coronavirus pandemic. These closures and postponements will significantly decrease traffic in the courts. But for those still required to show up, it's not enough.
So that's a small step in the right direction, but it's just not near enough. It's really not necessary for the courts to remain open and expose everyone to this health hazard.
Okay, and apparently Craig has a caller from Hong Kong on the line to tell us about the situation in Hong Kong. So hopefully he'll be transferring that up here in just a moment. We'll see how that goes. There it is. Let's see what happens. Hello, caller.
Hi, Michael. How are you doing?
I am doing good. Who is this?
It's Goldenstein.
Goldenstein, how are you tonight?
Thank you. It's morning here, so I'm doing well.
I'm glad to hear that. So, and you're calling from Hong Kong, is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. I wanted, to talk a bit about if you want, kind of inform people about how the situation is handled differently here than versus US. In the US, I've been in New York just 10 days ago, in New Jersey, and I was kind of appalled to see the lightheartedness, if you want, with which the issue was approached.
So people in Hong Kong, they self-quarantine right away. I mean, they just kind of social distance right away, or I mean, when you say the difference, what is the difference that you see? What was the difference?
I mean,
go ahead.
I think it started, really with people here in Hong Kong are very mistrustful of Chinese propaganda, if you want.
Uh-huh.
So as soon as the first news emerged that there might be something going on, people started wearing masks, right? Nobody here on the street you would see without a mask. Then in public places, you go into a cinema or something, rows were kept open, so every second row would be filled. And if you were two different groups, there'll be 2 seats in between you, and you would wear the mask. Your temperature would be checked just before you walk in. Right, on the airport here, temperature is going to be checked twice. All the buildings have disinfectants readily available. All the restaurants also. Some even go as far, basically when you're entering, they will spray something, in a hand, a bit of alcohol, to kind of, slow the curve, right?
Right.
And I mean, we have seen here now in the last couple of days a rise of cases, but almost exclusively these cases where people returning from Europe and the US to Hong Kong, kind of to escape the situation there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Partially also because of the healthcare situation, if you want.
So, and Hong Kong has a socialized type medicine, like everyone gets free healthcare there, or?
Yeah. So the city-run hospitals provide free healthcare to all residents in Hong Kong. I mean, this has been here like this, since basically for forever.
Yeah, good. That's the way it should be everywhere. So, is there a lot of no more protest at all right now then, huh?
Well, people did and do protest, but this would be groups who, of friends who would meet anyway and have contact anyway. But the large protest, if you want, that were there until basically first week of January, when the news of the situation started coming out of China. They're not there anymore, right? And people are of course even suspicious, right? They're saying, some are saying, this is really timely to, stop the protest if you want.
Yeah.
But even during the protest, the face mask was a symbol of the protester. So in those crowds back then, everybody also would wear a face mask, but for different reasons, to protect themselves from being, recorded on CCTV and having repercussions later on.
Yeah.
From different sides.
Yeah, and they record, and you can see the cops with cameras. They're recording everything. So, and specifically trying to get as many people's faces on camera as they can. So, and it's like you're saying, yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, it's like it's blatant. They'll be really standing there in your face, and I was even held up once. Just walking home back for protest.
Yeah.
And people they stopped me. They're like, "You remove your mask, and just take a photo of my face," right?
Wow.
It's if you don't do it, back then they had this illegal law passed that was found later to be unconstitutional, where it was forbidden for a couple of weeks to wear a mask in public places.
Yeah. I think in the United States has a law like that. Actually,
really?
After 9/11, they passed these laws where you're not allowed to wear masks like the Guy Fawkes mask and stuff like that.
I see.
Yeah. Are you so are you hearing anything about the Chinese government accusing the U.S. of unleashing the COVID-19?
Yeah. I mean, it's in the international news, and we luckily not censored here, like people in mainland China are censored. So of course the news is there, but I mean nobody here I think believes it even for a second, right?
Huh. So what is it that you hear though about the U.S.? Go ahead.
I mean, when I was there, right? What I was surprised to find is how little awareness was there. Although the cases were doubling every day in the U.S. and in Europe, but people I met there, nobody wore a mask and so on. And I mean, I was even a bit ridiculed because I had glasses on and a mask on all the time. Often I would have gloves, if I don't know, taking an Uber and so on, so not to transfer anything.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell everyone, look, I'm not doing this to protect myself. I'm doing this, to protect you. If I have something, then it will stop, with a mask. It will,
Right. The mask doesn't really protect.
That way of thinking.
Yeah. The surgical masks don't really protect you from catching a virus. But if you are sick, it will prevent you from spreading it more readily. Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it also prevents you from let's say you touch something and then you need to scratch your face or something near the mouth. Well, you're gonna scratch the mask, right? So it's kind of you have this layer if you want to where there is no direct contact between your hand and your mucous areas, if you want.
Well, I got when I go out walking the dog, my hair is constantly falling in my face, and I'm like, God damn! So.
Well, I'm not sure. I would even say probably your hair is protecting you because the virus, as far as I read, as kind of a surface charge, so it's going to rather stick to the hair than anything else.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. You're probably right. So are you guys having trouble getting food or anything like that?
No, I mean, social life here is going on, if you want, in a almost normal manner, right? People go out in restaurants and so on.
Yeah.
But you sit down, you order, and then only in the last moment, you take off your mask to eat the food. You finish eating, you put it back on. You again, just follow very basic hygiene.
Yeah.
And also try, to find a table that's maybe not, where everybody else is sitting.
Yeah.
Not go to a restaurant when people who are coming off work, have to go basically. So if you can, you go earlier or a bit later when it's less crowded.
Yeah.
But of course, it's impacting a lot, right? Any kind of social gathering, schools, universities, this is all off. Luckily,
Right, yeah,
people,
well-
can go out, take a walk, go to the seaside.
Yeah. All the restaurants and bars and everything are closed here. So.
Yeah, and I'm wondering. I mean, with the food situation, are the supermarket shelves still full or?
I keep seeing empty shelves. The people are acting pretty crazy when it comes to the grocery store. But I guess if they close the restaurants, then you kind of got to make sure you have food, I guess. Although,
Yeah.
if the people, the restaurants that do takeout food, like pizza places and all that kind of shit, is still available. Those haven't had to close. They just can't have like in restaurant dining, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, absolutely makes sense. And when I returned from the U.S., I was also for a couple of days, trying to stay home, cook, not go out, just to see if I would have any symptom and so on.
Sure.
So there is enough time to for it to show, right?
Yeah, if you have to get on a plane and be around an airport and all that shit, for sure you want to take some precautions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it was really surprising in the airport. You see all the other flights on the gates and nobody's wearing a mask, and then you see the flights to Taiwan, Japan, Hong Kong, and everybody's wearing a mask.
It's weird. And nobody here. When I go to the store, I went to the nursery today to get some dirt. And nobody's wearing masks. Nobody at all. At the grocery store, I went to the grocery store like I don't know, a week ago or something, and there was like one person or two people that were together that were wearing a mask. So.
And I mean, if you want to buy masks, are any available right now or?
My friend Sam, who helps us out with the show a lot, he's actually making masks out of clothing, out of like a cloth, material, and then a washable mask. So I have them available, and but I don't know. I don't think so. I think that they're saying all kinds of supplies are running very short.
Yeah. I mean, what we see here is there is a beer that I like to drink. It's coming from Europe, non-alcoholic beer. That one, I haven't seen it on the shelf for weeks now. It's so some things are also kind of not available.
Yeah, we.
But.
I usually get all my glass bongs and stuff from China, so that's kind of not happening. And then I went and broke my bong last month, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, are they only available from China, or can you get them from somewhere else?
I got another one from somewhere else. They're available, but I mean they cost like 4 times as much, so.
Well, at least you can be more sure that maybe people who made them are in fair conditions, if you want.
Oh yeah, no, I always think that these things must be coming from prison labor or something, But
it's one never knows, right? It's hard to go and check.
yeah, well, it's really hard actually to know if you were to buy something that didn't seem like it was coming from China, that it actually wasn't. It'd be very difficult to tell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's really kind of funny almost is the government opposing the protesters here were saying, oh, don't use the mask and so on,
right?
Whatever during the protest, right? But people had bought masks, either cloth masks or surgical masks and so on. People really piled up, if you want, with what is commonly called gear, protest gear like gloves and then also protective glasses and so on. Even rebreathers, not rebreathers, like the proper full face mask with a EPA filter.
Yeah.
And now this all comes in really handy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes in handy when there's fucking tear gas everywhere too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's really kind of funny and sad at the same time.
The cops got you guys all prepared for this shit.
Yeah.
Well, what's the weather like there?
It's not too warm. It's a bit hazy, but yeah, it's springtime, so it's gonna improve every day.
Sounds pretty nice.
I think it must be very cold in Seattle, right?
No, I mean I think it's about 50 degrees today or something. It's pretty nice out. I walk the dogs every day for like a couple hours, and I mean I basically just wear a t-shirt and a hoodie, and I always have to unzip the hoodie. So
wow.
Yeah. This is really the best weather in the world. If you haven't been here, you're missing out.
Oh, I've been closest. I think I've been Chicago, Boston, and it was really cold, man. It was really cold.
Oh yeah, those places get cold. No, Seattle's not like that.
Oh really?
No, not like that. No.
So you get more like of the sea air, sea weather.
They have what they call the banana belt, right? And it goes up. It goes like across Hawaii, and then it goes up, and it crosses like right over the top of Seattle. And the banana belt is like where you is like this tropical wind current, and it keeps the air a certain kind of weather so that you can grow bananas, right? So that's where we're at in Seattle. It's very tropical here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you get some banana smell with the wind?
It depends on what kind of plants I'm growing.
I see. Yeah. Probably. Some good sativa smell.
Something good. We're gonna get on that here this week. I went to the nursery today and got me a bunch of dirt, so I am ready to go.
Nice. Well, it was really nice talking to you, Michael. I don't know if it's
Goldenstein.
Yeah, I really enjoy your show. So for many years now, I really have to say, I remember first time, I don't know, discovering your channel, maybe 2010 or something, maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when did you start even? 2007, 8?
It seems like to me it was around 2003, but they say that that the YouTube didn't come around until 2005 is what they're saying, but it seems like it's more like 2003 to me. It might have been that I was just posting on the Google video in 2003, and that seemed like YouTube to me. I don't know, because there was Google video before there was YouTube.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember I've been following your channel for almost 2 years. When first time they cleaned it up, basically took down all your videos and so on. That was really sad. I wish we have those videos to go back in history and look at the news back then with all the wars and financial crisis and
It's just so short-sighted. It's just so short-sighted. I mean, those archives of videos every single one that I built has just been of value to everyone, to all mankind. And they just fucking make it vanish in the blink of an eye, you know.
Yeah, and all the discussions that were in the comments down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the thing, see, I could go back and I could repost the videos, but we'll never get all those discussions that were right there in the moment, you know, when it was happening.
Exactly.
This is what we were thinking. And they just fucking erase it like it never existed, dude, in the blink of an eye. And, you know, they go home and they sleep well at night. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Goldstein,
Michael,
I'm glad we got a minute to talk today, and I hope that we get a chance to talk again soon, okay?
Sure. Keep on the good work.
Okay, well, thank you for calling, and I'll continue to move forward, okay? And so, stay cool, and I hope we talk again soon.
Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that's Goldstein calling from Goldenstein, calling from Hong Kong, apparently. Okay, so, and I have a video here about low primary turnout yesterday, and they're saying that was in part because of the coronavirus.
Well, Jamie, the virus playing a huge factor in the race for the White House as well, with low turnout and even a postponed primary affecting how another important Tuesday of voting unraveled last night. Through it all, though, the former Vice President Joe Biden expanded his delegate lead against Bernie Sanders with a sweep in 3 states. Reporter Ray Bogan has that part of our coverage tonight.
Senator Bernie Sanders is back on Capitol Hill a day after Joe Biden swept him in 3 presidential primaries. Sanders says he is not dropping out. But in an email to supporters, his campaign was blunt. No sugarcoating it. Last night did not go the way we wanted. Sanders live streamed an address to follow coronavirus social distancing guidelines.
We can do it. We can address this crisis. We can minimize the pain, and let us do just that.
The senator did not mention the campaign or primary results, but he did share why he believes his health care platform would help carry the country through the COVID-19 pandemic.
What I believe we must do is empower Medicare to cover all medical bills during this emergency.
Joe Biden is the declared winner in Arizona, Illinois, and Florida. The former vice president now has at least 1,173 delegates. He's just over 800 away from securing the nomination.
We're doing it by building a broad coalition that we need to win in November.
President Trump weighed in on the results by tweeting, "The DNC will have gotten their fondest wish and defeated Bernie Sanders. Now they are doing everything possible to be nice to him in order to keep his supporters."
So let me say, especially to the young voters who have been inspired by Senator Sanders, I hear you. I know what's at stake. I know what we have to do.
That was Ray Bogan reporting. Here's an updated look, though, at the delegate count following last night's results. Biden with 1,179, Sanders with 884. Biden still more than 800 delegates away from the threshold needed to clinch the nomination.
And I thought that was kind of interesting about the low primary turnout. I don't know what you guys think. Michael from Southern California was saying that Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the race. Did you guys hear that? I didn't hear that. I mean, I looked at some stuff today. Lots of stuff. I didn't hear Bernie Sanders drops out of the race. Is that what's happening? Because I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna go get that other video from the other computer in the other room that has the Fox clip that I wanted to show you. So I'm gonna play. It's gonna take just a minute. Oh, here we go. Gun sales skyrocket in America. And do you know why gun sales skyrocket in America? Because those people are not eating enough marijuana.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am? You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Here at Action Impact in Southfield, the owner says you'll find workers wearing gloves like these and sanitizing regularly to protect against spread of coronavirus, and also weapons like this are selling rapidly, 100 to 150 a day for the last 5 days.
The coronavirus is like taking over everything, so everyone's just getting prepared in all angles.
Action Impact customer Tamiko Jackson isn't shy about her need to feel safe. A big reason she's buying a gun and ammo as the coronavirus outbreak spreads. As a repeat customer, she's also telling us she feels most comfortable coming here.
I love this store. I've been coming here, and they're very helpful with everything.
Store owner Bill Kusick says his sales have always been strong, but the past 5 days they've skyrocketed.
Primarily your most popular 940s and 45s, so we're not selling ammunition out the door. You only get ammunition with a firearm purchase.
Customers don't seem too concerned about shooting for a deal. Instead, just wanting to know what's available now.
Starting about 5 days ago, we've been extremely busy. This store has been flooded with people. I'm experiencing thousands of phone calls a day, thousands of customers. I'm out of ammunition. I'm pretty much out of firearms.
Bill isn't exactly sure why coronavirus coming to Michigan has translated into so many people now wanting to arm themselves. But he's confident customers who now line up to enter the shop will do so responsibly. For Tamiko, it's about peace of mind more than anything during times of crisis.
It's for my business and for home protection, so I have to make sure both are being covered.
In this region, I'm pretty popular the last number of days. Not because anybody likes me, it's just because I'm selling guns.
Bill says he's doing everything he can to keep up with demand here, but without any guns or ammo, he would have to temporarily close to restock and keep up with demand. From Southfield, Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.
All right, so I got my clip ready from Fox News that shows you how Fox News is framing the commercials in between the news segments. They're taking and building a border around the commercial, and then they're putting, like 2020 pandemic. It says something pandemic, maybe COVID-19 pandemic or something like that, right? And the reason that they're doing that during the commercials, and the reason I want to point this out, is because they're making sure that you can't go anywhere. You can't fucking look away. You can't stop, because we're talking about a pandemic, people, every minute of every single day, and you need to know every single thing that we're happening. And if we don't keep clear that even during the commercials that there's a motherfucking pandemic going on, you just might change the channel. So we want to make sure that you know. And then right after the commercial ends, you can see that they take this border off that says, pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, or whatever it says. I'm not sure exactly what it says, but it says something like that. And the minute the commercials come up, they frame the commercials like that. The minute the news segment comes back up, they take the framing, the border down. So, and they put up a different border for whatever the story is, But it's just, it's like you can't even get a break from the COVID virus during the commercials. Your funny Geico commercial, not so fucking funny when it says COVID-19 pandemic 2020. Right? You can't relax, and I think it's mostly like the old people who listen to the Fox News, right? So and again, I don't know what's going on, but I know what these people do is they hype your fear when they should be trying to tell you that, we'll get through this. They're like, we're all gonna die. We're running out of medical supplies already. Nice. All right, so I'm going to show you that Fox clip because I want you to see the way that the fear machine works and the fact that we cannot let you relax for even 1 second, even during the commercials. You must remain fucking full of anxiety every second of every day, and your little Geico commercial isn't going to rescue you from this. Now watch. I took the volume off of it, but you can see right at the end of this little clip, it's only like 5-10 seconds right at the beginning of the news story, but I wanted you to see it. You can see right at the end of the commercial that the Chevron logo comes up. It's a Chevron commercial. But I want you to see how it's being framed, and this is how they're doing it all the commercials all the time on Fox News. Where's that at? Clip 11. Where's clip 11? Right.
Reliable.
See?
Ever cleaner energy to America.
Coronavirus pandemic.
More alerts a bit earlier today. President Trump saying he will deploy 2 Navy hospital ships to help fight the virus pandemic. One of them will go to New York City after a spike in cases. Governor Cuomo saying the increase is mostly because of more testing. The other will head somewhere on the West Coast. We'll wait for more information on that. These ships have responded to some of the worst disasters in the world. Most recently, the humanitarian crisis in Venezuela and Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin picks up her reporting on this now from the Pentagon. Jennifer.
Bill, U.S. Navy officials tell me the hospital ship referenced by President Trump and New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, the USNS Comfort, will not be ready to arrive in New York until mid-April at the earliest. We just heard from spokesman Jonathan Hoffman here at the Pentagon. He said the Comfort is intended to head to the New York area. The timing-wise, however, it's difficult because it's still in maintenance in Norfolk, but it will not be an issue of days. It will be an issue of weeks. It is undergoing repairs, as we mentioned, after a 6-month tour of South America. Efforts are being made to expedite the timeline, however, according to U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper.
And we have also alerted a variety of field and expeditionary hospitals to be prepared to deploy as well as needed, based on direction from the Commander-in-Chief.
The U.S. Navy only has 2 hospital ships, each with about 1,000 bunks, one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast, as you mentioned, in San Diego. The Comfort and Mercy will not be used for COVID-19 patients, however, but will relieve pressure on the hospitals wherever they deploy with trauma patients, for instance. Mercy could be ready in 5 days to set sail from San Diego, I'm told. The other problem is assembling medical staff for these ships. Medical reservists are dispersed around the country, already working in civilian hospitals. If the hospital ship were to moor in New York Harbor, it would have to be there would have to be a system in place to screen the trauma cases for coronavirus before letting them on board those ships. Bill?
Governor Cuomo here in New York says he's meeting with the Army Corps of Engineers today. Is there more coming on that front, Jennifer?
Well, that's right. Today, Defense Secretary Esper at the White House said the 1st Army Corps of Engineers had arrived in New York. However, just yesterday, we were told the Army Corps of Engineers has serious limitations in terms of its capability. It normally contracts out to private construction groups. They do not build hospitals themselves, but they can assess the need.
Whether it's our field hospitals, whether it's our hospital ships, they are focused on trauma. They don't have necessarily the space, the segregated spaces you need to deal with infectious diseases.
Here at the Pentagon briefing moments ago, Brigadier General Paul Friedrichs, the staff surgeon for the Joint Staff, said the Department of Defense has placed 1,000 deployable temporary hospital beds on alert to be used in field hospitals in addition to the hospital ships. The problem is Governor Cuomo of New York says he needs 50,000 additional hospital beds right away. Bill?
Thank you. The update from the Pentagon back there with headlines as we get them here. Jennifer, thanks.
Anyways, I don't know if you guys noticed it right at the beginning, but that's how they're framing. I pulled the Fox News up on here. They're in the middle of a news segment. If they go to commercial, I'll show you that this is what they're doing through all the commercials. Because you cannot forget, we're at war, people. At war with the coronavirus. And this is a wartime president. And you know why they want to be a wartime president so bad, right? I mean, they all want to be wartime presidents, but they want to be that because wartime presidents get reelected, because wartime presidents get to be strong and make bold, decisive actions, because we're at war. It's scary territory. I'm much, much, much more afraid right now of the government than I am of the COVID virus. So you know. Okay, so that being said, again, I have more videos. You can call if you want. This is a call-in show. The telephone number is 805-669-6397. And otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and play this other clip we have here. COVID-19 anxiety. And I don't want to hear how all I'm playing is COVID-19 because I played, well, the gun sales is kind of tied to the COVID-19. But I played the Oprah sex trafficking. I played the Duncan Hunter goes to jail. And, well, I thought there was another one. Low primary turnout. Well, that was kind of a COVID virus one too. But still, I'm working on trying to find other stuff, and I think that the Oprah find was a pretty good snatch, and so was the Duncan Hunter thing. So you know, I'm working hard to bring these things to you. Now, COVID-19 anxiety. Don't be afraid. And they ask, you know, can being afraid of the COVID-19, you know, having anxiety, having fear about this, can that reduce your and make you more susceptible to it? You know, that's one of the things they ask here.
Can being worried about the coronavirus make you more vulnerable to getting it? With so many of us feeling anxiety about this disease, medical reporter Liz Bonas shares tips on staying mentally well.
As we see the mounting terror of so many across the world concerned about the coronavirus, it is no surprise this week that a report from Mental Health America says anxiety is at an all-time high around COVID-19. Within the last few weeks, an online screening test which asks a series of questions, including, are you feeling anxious or nervous? Are you not able to control your feelings or stop worrying? Are you worrying about too many different things? They also asked if you're having trouble relaxing, or if you've been so restless it's hard to sit still, if you're becoming easily annoyed, and if you feel afraid as if something awful might happen.
I think that a reasonable level of worry is very appropriate. Practicing the same things that we've always done, meaning washing your hands, covering your mouth when you sneeze or cough, keep going back to the basics. The basic advice has stuck around for a long time because it works. And so staying healthy and getting your sleep, getting your rest, and your eating good foods, all of that. Continue doing that stuff, and that will help alleviate some of that worry.
Good health habits can really help you manage any kind of stress and anxiety, according to psychiatrist Dr. Stephanie Parrish. But I had to ask, so can worry make you sick?
So recognize those feelings. You know, when you get stressed, you get headaches. When you get nervous, you have butterflies in your stomach. All of this is real. And recognize that means you're feeling anxious at that moment. So do things to combat that anxiety. So focus on the things that you can control at that moment.
And recognize, she says, that sometimes talking to a professional or someone you trust about what you can't control may be one of the healthiest ways yet for all of us to get through this. I'm medical reporter Liz Bonus reporting.
Next on KOMO News at 4.
I am not the boss of Steve McClanahan. Steve McClanahan is off somewhere in the shit, no doubt. Deep, deep in the shit. And I am sure he will call when he can. As far as you know, as far as I know, I don't know. I really don't. I have no idea. I think I have one more clip. I think I played. I don't think I played this one, but I crossed it off. I crossed it off, but I don't think I played it. America's New Normal with the COVID virus. I have that one still left to play. And then that's about it. Oh, we have also the fucking tiger clip, because you gotta play the fucking tiger clip. I don't see a fucking tiger. What are you talking about? Fucking tiger! There's no fucking tiger. So we have that going for us. We got the Boo Bear over there laying down by the river, which is nice. It's a good spot for a Boo Bear. I got the fucking tiger clip played. So the only one I have left, again, 805-669-6397. The only clip that I have left is the American New Normal one. And I don't know if I played that one. I may have played it. So I am gonna play that clip for you now, and then if I played it already, you guys tell me.
Get right to the latest on the coronavirus. It's now in all 50 states with more than 6,300 cases reported and at least 109 fatalities as officials race to fight the spread. Scenes like this can be found all across the country. Empty streets as more Americans are either ordered to stay home or they choose to do so. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is out with a new warning.
New Yorkers should be prepared right now for the possibility of a shelter-in-place order.
In America's most populous city, reported cases went up by more than 500 in just a day and a half, bringing the total to more than 900 overall. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said, however, he's not planning a quarantine, and he does have to approve one. Congress is planning what could be the biggest economic bailout in American history. It's a $1 trillion proposal that would include payments to most American adults. Some call it a stimulus. It also looks like humanitarian aid, as unemployment claims are already rocketing upward. Another aspect of this crisis, 70% of the country's schools are closed. That affects more than 40 million students. In Kansas, schools will not reopen this school year at all, and California is considering taking the same action.
The coronavirus pandemic is dramatically changing our everyday lives. Throughout the week, we're examining what this new normal looks like, including how we work, socialize, and get life-saving information. Already, a majority of people are staying inside their homes. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, is one of them. He reached out to people across the country to see what their new normal is at home. David, good morning.
Hey, Anthony, good morning. I am at home under self-quarantine because I had a brief contact with a colleague who tested positive for the virus. I have no symptoms. I have not been tested. but the company asked me to stay home as a precaution, and I was more than happy to honor that. So we wanted to talk to people who are at home on what is a beautiful morning here in New York City and around the country, either because they are self-quarantined like me, or because they're answering the call of their country to stay home.
My name is Jamichael Vicepo Ocasio.
And I'm Kimberly McCullough.
This couple from Nashville, Tennessee says they've been tracking COVID-19 since January. And that is why they are now self-quarantined in their apartment.
This is our decontamination station in process and step for social distancing when entering the house.
The Gonzalez family home in the Bronx of New York City is now a classroom for 4-year-old Ramses and his 13-year-old sister, Haley. She's been using Google Classroom to interact with her teachers and peers.
And I was able to focus way better on online than actually in person.
17-year-old high school senior Meg Boone sent us this video from her home in McKinney, Texas, which is right outside Dallas.
It's just been kind of hard as just like a normal teenage kid to think, well, what's going to happen next? What about college? What about my diploma? What about finishing high school? What's next?
My greatest fear is bringing something home to them.
Mona Mualim is working from home in New York City. She cares for her 90-year-old father and 78-year-old mother.
I go to grocery stores late at night, after midnight, to make sure I'm minimizing exposure. Same thing with pharmacies. I don't take cabs anywhere. I won't order Ubers. I stay 6 feet away from my parents at all times. And it's hard.
In the house.
And that's been tough, David. They're anxious. They're terrified, and I can't hug them. I can't give them, hold their hand, And again, I recognize that maybe some of the things I'm doing, maybe they're a little bit extreme, but I cannot carry that kind of guilt should something happen to them.
And then there's the story of our CBS News Radio colleague, Bill Rakoff. Bill and his family were not able to be by his mother's side when she died this past weekend from natural causes. They couldn't be there because of new guidance that prevents nursing home visits unless the person is dying. But Bill and his family didn't know how imminent his mother Laura Lee's death was. Bill reflected on his dad's devotion to his mom.
He had been her staunchest advocate and caretaker, always taking her to the doctor, always advocating, always stepping in when a hospitalist or a doctor didn't get it, and making sure that they got it. And ironically, on her last day of life, he couldn't be there.
Our sincerest condolences to our colleague Bill and to the entire Rakoff family. Two other reflections from my conversations with Americans over the last couple of days. There are so many people who work freelance and are wondering when that next paycheck is going to come, and literally are living paycheck to paycheck. And also, I don't know, but the world seems a bit nicer, even here in New York City, with all the hustle and bustle and meanness that can be. It seems a bit kinder. So I will be home through Sunday on self-quarantine, but don't feel bad for me. Paddington is good company.
Wow, he's getting big.
We're all good.
He's getting so big and he's so cute. Thank you, David. Thank you very much. And David's right. Kindness always works.
Yes.
That's the thing I worry about. Like you said yesterday, Tony, we may be socially distant, but we have to not be emotionally distant, because human touch is so important. Many of us can't do that now.
Especially now when you can't touch.
Many of us can't do that.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, so, and I got all the videos. Look, I got them all that time. Yesterday, we've been having a hard time getting them all, but we got them all. See, that was when was that? That was, the 16th. We couldn't get them all on that day. Look, we barely got any on that day. Yesterday, we only got half of them, but today we got them all. Boom. Got them all. Which is good, because I hate doing all that work and then we don't even get to use it. You guys don't even get to see it. But I like having lots of phone callers and talking with everybody as much as I can. That's way better than the video clips. So I guess tomorrow is my birthday, March 19th. I am going to go bake a cake now. And I will cut a big slice of cake tomorrow night, and we'll have cake. And I hope all of you will be here. I will be doing big, fat, juicy dabs. I'm going to press some fucking good stuff, and we'll have some big, fatty dabs ready to go. And we'll celebrate like it's 1999, and it's the end of the world as we know it. And I live my life like there's no tomorrow. Right? So, I hope we see you there. And every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Because it's always better when you're there. And we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So please tune in tomorrow because it's my birthday. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. And don't forget, one of these days, this war is going to end. So stay cool until that day.
No matter which mouth you feed. Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the head health official and no matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.